Major NFL news that could signal something big coming up for the Cleveland Browns. Seems like a lot of NFL teams are going in a certain direction. I'm going to outline how the Cleveland Browns outline that same model. Something might be coming here soon for the Browns, perhaps a coaching change. I want to get your opinions first, just before we dive into all of this, though. What should Jimmy Haslam do? Type KS if you think the answer is fire Stefanski. Type AB if you think the Browns need to fire Andrew Berry. If you think we just need a clean house, ship everybody out of there by the end of the season or in the offseason, then type CH. Let me know in that comment section right now before we get into something. It looks like it might be coming for the Cleveland Browns. All right, so you may have seen the news, Ian Rappaport telling us that the Giants have fired head coach Brian Daboll. A promising and frustrating season leads to New York having an opening. This hit the market recently, and what did ESPN analyst Dan Orlovsky say about it? Well, check this out. The first thing he said was the number one name I would pay attention to if I were the Giants is what happens in Cleveland with Kevin Stefanski. He went on to say that Stefanski is a good coach and is a two-time coach of the year. The experts don't watch every single Browns game like you and I do, folks. And these rumors are heating up. The fact that Orlovsky's even bringing up Stefanski as a likely candidate to be available soon, I think the writing's on the wall here that Kevin Stefanski is in trouble. If you look at Brian Daboll's record, too, over the last 4 seasons, well, he won a playoff game. There's a similar sort of script here with New York and Cleveland, in a sense. It's not identical, but 2022, remember, New York beat the Vikings in the playoffs. And then after that, he went 6-11, 3-14 last year, and they got off to that 2-8 start. For Kevin Stefanski's last 4 seasons, those last 2 are identical. We were 3-14 last season, and we're 2-7 right now. Obviously, we had a bye week, so that's probably why it's not 2-8, but identical last 2 seasons. And then 2 years ago, sure, we made the playoffs. It was a magical run with Joe Flacco coming in at the end of it. But there were multiple different quarterbacks cycling through. Our defense was great. The offense still questionable. And the year before that, losing record, 7-10, even with Baker. And so since 2023, since that playoff run I mentioned, Stefanski is 5-21, 1-13 on the road. And the Browns offense has averaged 15.7 points per game the last 2 seasons. It's dead last in the NFL. Resulted in Kevin Stefanski giving up play calling in back-to-back seasons. Last year to Ken Dorsey. This year it's Tommy Rees, who has just taken over, came into effect in Week 10, and we lose to arguably the worst team in the National Football League. The odds of head coaches to be fired, now that Daboll has been, the next best odds is Raheem Morris of the Atlanta Falcons. Kevin Stefanski is top 5 on that list. The betting odds have him at plus 750 at the moment as we speak. I think it's most likely that this becomes an end-of-season firing, and that's why. But he's up there on that list, and that seat is hot. Some more records for Kevin Stefanski during his tenure as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Well, overall in the regular season, we're below 500 with Coach Kevin Stefanski, with the 2-time Coach of the Year. He's 42-51 in the postseason, 1-2, losing record there as well. I am glad we made the postseason twice. 2020 was electric, but since the year he got there, I showed you it's been pretty grim. And overall, it's a 43-53 record as a head coach of our football team. You look at another coach that got fired this year, Brian Callahan, who was a member of the Tennessee Titans. Well, his record the last 2 seasons is 4-19. That's the exact record that Kevin Stefanski got off to here to start the season. And then the last 2 seasons now, he's 5-21. It looks a lot like these situations that we've seen of 2 head coaches getting fired this season. And by the way, Callahan and Brian Daboll both had rookie quarterbacks. Jackson Dart and Cam Ward. So Kevin Stefanski got a rookie there as well. Gabriel maybe doesn't look as good or have as much promise as the other 2. But the script is sort of writing itself here. And I think Kevin Stefanski's days are numbered in Cleveland. I really think we're coming down to the wire here. And by the end of the season, you're going to get some news to start the offseason. I'm predicting it here. I honestly do not see how he would remain the head coach of the Cleveland Browns if we're picking in the top 5 again this year. And based on recent trends in the National Football League, the 2 examples we've looked at here today, eerily similar in a lot of categories. This is the direction we're headed in, Cleveland Browns fans. So a lot of you might be celebrating that Kevin Stefanski has a high chance to be fired in our estimation here on the show. We'll see what the Browns front office actually does. Jimmy Haslam has said that the Deshaun Watson trade was hard for Kevin to deal with, and that he got dealt a bad hand, essentially. But the last 2 seasons, there's no excuse. The offense has been putrid. We're being carried by our defense once again here in 2025. Predict it, Browns fans. If you want to call it just like I am, type Y for yes in the comments section. Will Kevin Stefanski be fired this season? If you don't think so, type N for no. But let me know in the comments section so I can go ahead and see who called it, if and when it happens. We got some more news to talk about here on the show. We're going to look at Brian Daboll as a candidate for the Browns. But first, I'm going to tell you that this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but that feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Football is in full swing now on Sundays, and I'm big into daily fantasy with Prize Picks. I'm actually obsessed with it because it makes all the games more entertaining. And before the Browns play, I lock in on all my players in my lineup and their player projections. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. You can also follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app. Copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like, hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. That means you can follow my lineup as well that I got going for this week. Drake May, more than 1.5 passing touchdowns. He's done that every week the past 5 weeks. Also going to go Bo Nix, more than half a passing touchdown, and Javonte Williams against the lowly Raiders, more than 73.5 rushing yards. That's my lineup. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. Let's talk about it, Browns fans. Should Cleveland explore Brian Daboll as an option, whether it's head coach or bringing him in as a coordinator by the end of the season / in the offseason? What I will say about Brian Daboll is the job he's done with young quarterbacks as of lately has been impressive. You look at the last 2 he's been able to coach. Josh Allen when he was an offensive coordinator in Buffalo, and Jackson Dart now here in New York, which that's the other thing about New York. I mean, the rookie quarterback was looking pretty good. The offense wasn't necessarily an issue, and he still got canned for choking leads, I would imagine, as the head coach. But as an offensive coordinator, I don't mind the idea of exploring Brian Daboll. We're a team that has an awful offense this year and pretty bad last year as well. I showed you the points per game metric. It's really bad. It's really sluggish. And I think if Daboll's a guy that can develop a young quarterback like Shedeur Sanders, who could very well be the starting quarterback at some point next year or later this year, I think it's worth exploring. It's worth noting that Daboll was actually the Browns' offensive coordinator at one point as well, 2009 to 2010. Those were Brady Quinn years, Browns fans. Not necessarily great year either. Dead last in the AFC North, as you might have imagined. But I think he's grown a lot since then, gotten a lot more experience. He's a member of the Chiefs staff, Alabama, you name it. But Daboll's been around, and like I said, specifically what he's done as a coordinator in Buffalo gives me a little bit of positive. I'm not saying I'd go out and hire him. I'm just saying I'm down for an interview, right? What could you do to spark our offense, Daboll? Let me know. I'm curious. I do think the Browns, though, as a whole, need a clean house. I mean, that is where I'm at right now. I said to you guys, if we lose to the New York Jets, fire everybody. And I meant it. That means Andrew Berry. That means Kevin Stefanski. Get them all out of here. And all of a sudden, I have to think about the special teams coordinator, Bubba, as well. Here's what Daniel Oyefusi told us. Since Ventrone took over as a special teams coordinator in 2023, the Browns are the only team in the NFL that has allowed 3 touchdowns on kick and punt returns. No other team in the National Football League has allowed more than 3 return touchdowns during that time frame. And we gave up 2 to the New York Jets. Probably the literal reason we lost that football game. Kevin Stefanski was asked about some of the decisions, including not picking up an easy 4th and 1, dropping back to throw. He said, well, let me say first, I'm responsible for every decision, every play call, offense, defense, special teams. So I'll own all of it. And I trust our players. I trust our coaches. We obviously did not get the result we wanted there. And the desire, obviously, on 3rd down and 4th down is to get that first. No kidding, man. We came up short, but bottom line is it's my responsibility. At least he's taking accountability, but he's saying that this is all him. We lose because of him. He's admitting it. And honestly, I'm kind of over the Ivy League guys. You know, I mean, Kevin Stefanski, UPenn, Andrew Berry, Harvard. I mean, we had freaking baseball DePodesta running things. The Moneyball made a movie based on him. I mean, what are we doing? I think DePodesta's also a Harvard guy. I mean, maybe, just maybe, we do need a football guy. Maybe the rumors are true. Old John Gruden grew up a Cleveland fan. We'll get into that in a later video, but I'm starting to think we need some NFL guys, not some baseball guys. I'm glad DePodesta is on his way out and back to baseball. And I'm over the regime and scheme we got going. So I'm cleaning house. But like I said, I want to hear what you guys have to say. Going over, follow me on X at Joey070. If you want to tell me some more things, you can do that on Twitter. I respond, I reply. So give me a follow. We can chat it up there. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel because if and when the news breaks, I'm going to hop on here. I'll probably go live, and you're going to want to be the first to know about it and get the insight. So hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you all tuning in this edition of the Browns Report with me, and we'll see you next time.